readers, welcome back to Lessons from the Homeroom. I'm so excited you're back to grow as a reader some more. So we just talked about inferring and learning about the lessons that are written in a story. We used some great texts. Here in Pig the Fibber, Pig learned that you really shouldn't lie. You shouldn't lie and you shouldn't blame things on your friends. What a great lesson. We also learned that in Wordy Birdie, it's really valuable to listen. Listening could save your life, in this case. Also, we learned that in the Very Impatient Caterpillar, that it's really important to be honest with yourself, be patient, and wait for things to come. So a lot of these books that we've been reading lately have really important messages, and there's a reason for that, and that's called author's purpose, which is what we're going to talk about some more today. Author's purpose. If we just break down those two words, we can say, okay, who is the author? The person who wrote the story. And the purpose is the reason. So author's purpose means the reason why the author wrote the text. Now, it takes a lot of hard work to become an author. It takes a lot of time thinking of ideas, writing ideas, editing ideas, publishing ideas. So there has to be a reason for their work, a reason that they took so much time on this activity, the reason why they took so much time writing you this special piece. So when I think about this, every time I pick up a book, I think, wow, there was a lot of work that went into this book being in my hands. That's really special. So because it's so special, that's why I like to think about books in detail, because there was so much work that went into them. And really, an author has to have a purpose, or there's no point in reading. So what's the purpose of you learning how to ride a bike? Well, it's fun, it's good exercise, but if riding a bike wasn't fun, and it didn't do anything for you, there would be no purpose, no reason, so it wouldn't be as valuable to you to learn how to do it. So when an author has a purpose, there might be many reasons why they write you a story. And this is an acronym that I found that I love. It's called In Deep. Authors go deep into the reasons why they write. So here are the words that build the acronym In Deep. First, author's purpose is often to inform. So when an author wants to inform you about something, they could write information giving details about a topic. It might be a nonfiction text to let you know about tigers or to let you know about penguins or whatever you pick up. So an author often has a purpose to inform the reader. All right, let's move on to the D. The D is to, an author's purpose might be to describe something. They might use your imagination and sensory words to be able to describe things. I remember that some of our poems that we read in our poetry unit really describe things beautifully because of the imagery and the words that they chose. So an author's purpose could also be to describe. The next one is explain. They might want to explain the steps of something to you or the reasons for something. So another E is to explain. Now, when I think of this one too, I also think about another word that starts with E, and that's educate. So explain and educate might be there to teach us something. So I'm going to add that. That might also go with inform, but I thought this word kind of helped us a little bit. All right, moving on to the second E. What do you think an author's purpose might also be that starts with an E? If you guessed entertain, you are correct. There's a lot of great books that are written out there just to be fun. So entertain is one. So far, we have an author's purpose might be to inform us of something, to describe something to the reader, to explain, educate, or entertain. And our final one for the P is to persuade. So in our persuasive writing, we are trying to convince someone. So the author might be also trying to persuade you as a reader. All right, so we're going to put persuade. These are the many reasons that an author is going to write to you. And so sometimes for us to think about our books deeply, we might want to say as we continue to read this, why did the author want to write this book? What am I trying to get out of it? Am I trying to learn something from the text? Am I trying to just be entertained? Am I trying to be convinced? So it's really fun to think about why the author wrote this book. And do what I do. When you pick up a book, think about how fascinating it is from start to finish and all the work that went into the book. So if it took that much work, it's probably worth reading. So today we're going to read another mentor text called Friends. There doesn't necessarily have to be just one purpose. So let's read this book and see if by the end you can think of why did the author write this? To inform, to describe, explain and educate, to entertain or persuade. Here we go. Friends, written by Helme Hine. Every morning, when Charlie Rooster strutted into the barn to wake up the other animals, Johnny Mouse and Fat Percy went with him to help. Good friends always stick together, they said. When this job was done, they wheeled their bicycle out of the barn and set off for their morning ride. They could ride down the roughest paths and up the steepest cliffs. No curve was too sharp for them and their bicycle. No puddle was deep enough to stop them. Wow, they seem like a really great trio. The mouse, the pig, and the rooster. One day, they played a game of hide and seek by the village pond. While Johnny Mouse was hiding, he discovered an old boat lying in the tall grass. He showed his friends, and they decided to play pirates. Good friends always decide things together, they said. Johnny Mouse took the tiller, Charlie Rooster opened his wings to make a sail, and Fat Percy plugged up the hole in the side of the boat by sitting on it. Perfect jobs for each of them. They sailed out in the open water, and as the day went on, they felt very brave and bold. They conquered the village pond. Oh, that looks like a great day with friends. But hunger finally sent them back to shore. First, they tried to catch a fish, but their stomachs rumbled so loudly that they frightened all the fish away. Then they went looking for cherries. They shared them, some for Johnny Mouse, some for Charlie Rooster, and twice as many for Fat Percy. Johnny Mouse didn't mind, but Charlie Rooster complained. He said it was unfair, so they gave him the cherry stones. Friends are always fair, they said. So far, can you already start to see a purpose of our story? I'm hearing that they always say phrases, like friends are always. Does that give us a clue? Anytime an author repeats themselves, it's probably something they really want you to hear. They ate so many cherries that they all got stomach aches and had to sit down for a while before they started back. As evening fell and the shadows grew longer, they bicycled home. Behind the hen house, near the water barrel, they swore to be friends forever. Good friends always stick together, they said. I think it's really trying to teach us some lessons here. Good friends always stick together. They always look out for one another. They decided to spend the night in Johnny Mouse's house. But Charlie Rooster got stuck in the doorway. Then Fat Percy invited them to spend the night with him, but Johnny Mouse said he didn't want to sleep in a pigsty. Finally, Charlie Rooster suggested sleeping in the hen house. They tried to rest on a perch high above the ground, but it broke. So sadly, they said goodnight to each other and went on their own beds. Sometimes good friends can't be together, they said. Wow, have you ever thought about that? I know that I always say that my best friend and we're going to stick together forever, but wow, this is interesting. I feel like this is teaching me something. I think this might be the author's purpose. Let's keep trying to figure out. But that night they dreamed about each other the way true friends do. The end. So, I think this is really interesting. Do you think this was to inform us? I don't know. To describe? I did appreciate some of the language and the choice of words that the author chose. It really helped me think about what the pictures would look like if the illustrator didn't do its job. Explain or educate? I absolutely think it might be. Because I know that when we are with friends, you say we can only play with them, we can only be with them. But the reality is good friends don't have to always be together. They can do a lot together, but they don't always have to be together. Do you think also the purpose of this story might be to entertain us? I would say for sure this was a great fun little story. All right, it was funny, it was engaging. Because it was entertaining, it really helped me realize that there was probably a part to explain or educate me on, teach me something. Was it there to persuade me? I don't really think so. It wasn't trying to convince me on anything. But I definitely think our two E's are in this author's purpose. All right, so today you're going to think about the reason why your author wrote your book. All right, whether you're reading a chapter book or you pick up a new picture book or you're reading a graphic novel, stop and ask yourself as you read, take a moment and think about what was the purpose that the author wrote you this special magical story. So, my friends, as you read today, I ask that you do this hard work, and we're going to actually say goodbye from here. So, get settled into your awesome spot for reading with your books and your reading toolkit, jump into a story, and I hope you can share the reason why an author shared this book with you. Enjoy your reading today, and I'll see you on the next Lessons from the Home Room.